the webinar just now, if I'm right. Would that be fair to say? Is anyone that wasn't on the sales webinar? Who wasn't on the sales webinar? Anyone not on the sales webinar?
I know Millionaire wasn't on, and perhaps.
Okay, so cool. We got Millionaire, and perfect. Okay, good. Well, welcome, Millionaire, and welcome to everybody else. Good to be with you. So hopefully you got value in the last one. Oh, Triska. Hey, Triska, how you doing? Good to have you on as well. So yeah. So before I kick off, is there anything that you'd like me to chat about tonight? Anything that's been on your mind that that you would any questions that you'd like around financial freedom, around creating wealth, and let me see if I can assist, and if we can answer those questions, and if not, we can get them answered. So, Dirk, excellent. Bitcoin or virtual currency investments? So, Dirk, that's cool. I tell you what is, I will, if I can do it next week, if not next week, the following week when I'm back from the US, I will get one of my colleagues on, one of our BSTA trainers on, who has extensive knowledge around cryptocurrencies and that sort of stuff. And what we'll do is we can bring him on online, and I'll bring him on as a guest, and we can pick his brain around crypto and what it means, and how many of you would be interested in understanding a little bit more around cryptocurrency. People's money, as Robert Kiyosaki calls it. Anyone want to understand a little bit more around that? Marlon, will you make a note for me to hook up with Rob and get Rob to come on the call with us? Can you do that? Sweet. Okay, good. So, okay, good. So, Kim, last week you wrote out financial goals. So we talked about beginning with the end in mind, knowing where you want to go, having a clear path. Yes. So expand a little bit, Kim, on what that question is. In terms of how do you break them down to specifics. So give me an example of one of your financial goals, if you wouldn't mind. Kim, you can open your mic if you'd like, and you can just you don't have to type it. You can just speak to me about it. Okay. Okay. So you want to earn a specific salary per month. Okay, good. So in how many months do you want to earn that? So the first thing is set up a time frame. Okay. So I believe the first thing in any goal is what's the time frame that you want. Okay, so I don't know, 6 months, 12 months. Okay. Okay, so that's cool. So first step, Kim, is you want a time frame. So let's say it's 6 months. Okay, good. The second thing is okay, in 6 months you need a baseline. Where are you sitting at the moment? So I'm gonna pull some numbers. So let's say you want an earning out of your business of 100K. Okay, so if you want an earnings of 100K, that's cool. Well, the first step is, where do you sit right now? Okay, so let's say you're sitting on 40K. Okay, so the gap in what you need to do is you need to get a growth of 60K. Okay, so once you understand what the gap is, so basically the 100K. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let me do this in pictures for you guys, and hopefully it'll help. So so you can apply this to anything you want. When when you're building your business, when you're growing your sales, when you're going after a financial goal. But for me, if you look at it like this, so I'm just going to join this webinar. Let me open up my screen. Okay. So Kim, let's take your example. Okay. So we have 100K. So your goal is okay. So your goal is 100K, yeah? And right now, let's say you're sitting on 40K. Okay, so right up here, this ultimately is what you want to have. So the first step is, have clarity in what you want to have. Now, in the last session, we talked about this. So the second piece is, what do you need to do? Now, importantly here, what you understand is that the gap between 40 and 100 is 60K. So in doing, you've got to determine what is it that you do to generate income. Okay, so let's just keep it simple. That you sell. So let's just say you sell a product, and each product is you make 1,000 rand. Okay, so for each product you make 1,000 rand, and as a business owner, let's just say of that 1,000 rand, 500 rand is payable to you. Okay, good. So in order to make 60K, you've got to create a recurring sales value of 120 clients. So you need 120 customers. So now what you've got to do is say, what is it that I need to do to get 120 customers? I know what I need to have in terms of customers. That will give me my 100K a month. In order to do that, what do I need to do in order to get 120 customers? Now what you do is you break it down into what's the activity. Okay, so that would be applicable when you're driving sales. Now what happens if you're driving something that is going to generate so you talk salary. Now if we're talking financial freedom, I'm not talking salary, I'm talking way more important than salary, and for me this is the word, it's called cash flow. How much cash flow do you want to come from the asset that you might generate? Now I just draw a property, but maybe that's it's what would you need to do in order to generate that asset. So again, what do I need to have? I want to have a cash flow of an extra of 100K a month. Okay, what that means is that's a cash flow of an extra 60K. What that means is, what do I need to do? What assets do I have? What do I need to create? Now, in order to get to the asset base, what you might need to do is you might need to generate sales. So in terms of generating sales, you're going to go out, you're going to generate income, and then you're going to build assets to generate cash flow. So in order to break down your goals, you've got to understand what you have, understand where you sit as a baseline, then break them down systematically. Now what I would do is I take the 60K, for example, that you need to generate over here, and I would break it down into monthly and then into weekly chunks. Okay, so if my goal is to build 120 customers, what do I need to do right now to start adding on to those customers? So that would mean, how many people do I need to call? How many phone calls do I need to make? What size list do I need to build? And systematically build it up from there. So that this journey from here to here, the focus is on activity. What is the activity that you're gonna build? What is the activity that you are going to be able to focus on? Guys, please can I ask, when you come on, please will you mute? Please will you mute? Thank you. So Kim, your focus then is driving activity. So what I see with a lot of people is we focus on this. they focus on what is that they want to have, and they get stuck and fixated on what they want to have, and they don't get out and go and drive the activity. Activity creates results. I'll say that again. In anything, activity creates results. You know, I'll give you an example. On my wall here is one of my goals, and for my daily visualization is a couple of pictures of a couple of properties that I want to buy this year. Now, those things can stay on the flipping wall for the whole year, and they will do nothing. It doesn't matter how much I visualize until I get out and take some action. So what I've got to do is I start with what is it that I want to have. I want to have those 3 properties. Okay, good. Where do I sit at the moment? I sit on 0. I don't have those 3 properties. Okay, good. What do I need to do over the course of the next 6 to 12 months, depending on the time frame that I want, in order to be able to access those properties? Now, there's a number of things that I'll break that goal down into. First thing, do I know where those properties are? What is the value of those properties? How much cash am I going to need to raise for those properties? What would be the buying price of the properties? How much cash would be able to leverage? Am I going to get it? Am I going to raise that capital from other investors, or I'm going to raise that capital myself out of my own, or out of the bank or different lending institution? Now, I'd have to break that down and split it up into bite-sized chunks that I work through over the period of time that I'm going to achieve that result. Does that make sense? Kim, I don't know if that's answered your question. Does that help at all? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions that I can answer before I get into the couple of things that I wanted to chat about tonight? No, not yet. Okay, cool. So please feel free. Please ask questions. Please interact. Please make comments. If you don't understand something, don't be scared to say, don't understand that. If you disagree with something, please don't be scared to say, I disagree. You know, I am a proponent of duality, of there are always 2 or more sides to everything. I only know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. So yeah, I'm always open to discussions. So yeah, just feel that this is your learning platform, and I'd much rather be teaching you what you need to learn or what you want to learn than what I want to teach. So with that said, I'm going to jump into a couple of things that I'd prepared for tonight or gone through, and really just, you know, when I did the sales analysis, the sales webinar earlier, I talked about 15 key attributes to becoming good at sales. So, you know, I've just pulled sort of 10 key elements that I believe can assist anyone at becoming good at or at becoming financially free. So in terms of those key elements, I'm going to take you through 10 key elements. So grab your pen, your piece of paper, and maybe make some notes and write them down as I go through them. So the first one is this: accept and take full responsibility. So your financial future is your responsibility, nobody else's. My financial future is my responsibility. No one's coming to my rescue. No one is going to dole out any money. I don't bank on winning the lotto. especially me, because I don't have a ticket. But even if I did, it's not something that I'm going to bank my life on. It's my responsibility to take ownership of where I sit in terms of my financial future. So the first key thing is own your responsibility. You are responsible for it. If not, these are the things that will occur. One, the first thing that I see people do is they make excuses. The second thing, they blame. The third thing, they justify. The fourth thing, they deny. And if none of those work, the fifth thing is they quit. So that's called living below the line. So in terms of achieving financial freedom, in terms of creating wealth, in terms of becoming rich, in terms of achieving your dreams, you've got to live above the line. And living above the line is taking responsibility, and only you can take responsibility for you. So the first step, take responsibility. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming. Stop justifying. Stop denying, and never, ever, 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 ever quit. Okay, the journey is not easy. It is hard. Okay, it is not that difficult in terms of its simplicity. It's pretty simple. When you follow the teachings of Robert, when you follow the teachings of the Rich Dad advisors, they keep it very simple, but we complicate it in our mind. So, make the deal with yourself tonight. I will never quit. Okay, and then make the deal with yourself. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming. Stop blaming the petrol price. Stop blaming the economy. Stop blaming whatever you're blaming. Stop justifying why you are where you are. If you are where you are, it's because that's where you are. If you don't like it where you are financially, then take responsibility and do something about it. Too many people are waiting for somebody else to do something about it. So step number one, you've got to be responsible. You've got to take responsibility. Now, I'm pretty sure that you guys are open to taking responsibility. You are taking responsibility. You're in the game of responsibility. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this. You wouldn't be on this call if you didn't take responsibility. So be responsible. Take responsibility. Number two is control your spending. Okay, now that sounds pretty obvious, but really, to start off, control your spending. Spend less. In the Cashflow 101 game, Robert and Kim put these things in called doodads. And doodads are unexpected spending. And, a number of times when we run the Awaken Your Financial Genius event, I'll get people saying to me, yeah, Barry, but I got the card and I don't want that. Well, how many of you realize that often we are spending on stuff we don't really want to spend on it, but it's because of what we do, who we are, and the behaviors that we have that we just spend. So become disciplined in your spending habits. Control your spending. Okay, now I'm not saying don't go buy things, don't enjoy life, but control your spending and spend within the means that you have until you become financially free. Use the money that you have to create wealth rather than to create wealth for somebody else. So become disciplined and become controlled in the spending that you have. I know personally for me, that is an area that I am constantly working on. So rather than spending on, I don't know, ice cream and Cokes or, on new shoes, take that money and start making it work for you, and then use the money that you derive out of the asset to buy the things that you want to buy. Okay, so step number two, spend less, control your spending, be disciplined in spending. Step number three And this won't be, this is not new to anybody. But step number 3 is have a budget. Okay, budget's crucial. But the amount of people that I speak to that do not have a budget and have no idea where their money's going, what is happening to their money, how it moves, but you speak to them and they know they should have a budget. The other side is the people that I meet that do have a budget and don't follow it. You know, they've done the budget, they've gone through all the hard work, but then they don't follow it. You know, so your budget allows you to drive accountability. It allows you to hold yourself accountable to do the things that you need to do, to spend on the things that you need to spend on, and also to spend on the things that you want to spend on, but to create that discipline. So number 3, have a budget. Create a budget, manage your budget, tweak and change your budget, and use your budget as a tool to hold you accountable and allow you to drive to the path of financial freedom. Okay, number 4, and this is, I've heard Robert and Kim Kiyosaki talk about this often, and it's this one. And it's called pay yourself first. If you're self-employed, if you're a business owner, you know, pay yourself first. So you know, one of the key fundamental practices to achieve financial freedom is working for yourself rather than for a bank or credit card company. So learn to pay yourself first before you pay somebody else. So the first piece of your money comes to you. I see too many people paying themselves last, working damn hard, struggling, paying everybody else first, and then really just not getting a return. So, you know, pay yourself first, use that money wisely, move it into the assets that you need to move it into, so you start creating the wealth that you need to create. And start building up this habit. Pay you first. Okay. So when you're paying yourself first, it gives you the ability to invest. All too often, I hear this from people, but I don't have enough money in order to go and invest, but I haven't paid myself yet. So number 4, pay yourself first. Okay, good. Any questions or comments before I move on to the next ones? Any ahas? Anything that's just come up as we've gone through those four habits, if you want. Those 4, what would you call them? Key habits, key abilities, key behaviors. Those 4 behaviors. Yeah, Marlon. Yeah.
So you say pay yourself first. So what if what's coming in is not enough for your debt? Yeah, I mean, like for your debt, your lifestyle. I mean, not even your lifestyle, because I guess that's a bit over. But I mean, just for the necessities, and then you still, obviously, you have this plan of becoming financially free, but everything is not enough. How do you, especially at the moment in time, and you got people breathing down your neck for money, how do you actually navigate that?
Okay, good. So I've just written something on the screen.
Pardon?
I've just written something on the screen. Can you see it?
Can, yes.
Yeah, what does it say?
Sales equals income.
Okay, good. So if you don't have enough money, what do you need to learn how to do?
Sell.
Okay, so the first step in financial freedom is learning how to create income, and that's being able to sell. So the first step is you've got to be able to go out and start generating that income. Okay, then and coupled with that, you've got to manage what you have. But what often happens, Marlon, is people pay everybody else, and I know I've been in this trap. Pay everybody else, then I don't have the energy to get up and go pay myself, if that makes sense. Whereas often when I've paid myself, I'll get out and go and create more income to pay everybody else. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So there's this psychological thing that I've found is that when I've got to go and honor agreements with somebody else, I get it done. When I'm the one sometimes that I have to honor agreement with myself, I can find a reason why I'm not going to do it, and that comes down to paying myself, and I'll do without, but I've learned I don't want to do without. So I pay myself first, cover all my bills, cover what I need, but I'll get out and go and create to cover what I owe and the agreements that I have as well. So it's shifting the mindset that you have in order to do that. And sometimes you got to cut back on the lifestyle that we have, on the growth to financial freedom. Robert, and when you read all the stories of the likes of Robert and Kim Kiyosaki and people like that that have created wealth and riches, they lived some tight existences first. Robert says, I didn't buy Porsches and Mercedes until I was well financially free. I drove nice cars, but maintained that, and it's out of the financial freedom and the assets that often they buy the things that they want. A lot of people fall into that mistake of I need to look. So I think I've said it a couple of times in this webinar. It's much easier to act rich than it is to be rich. Okay, it's much easier to go get a loan for a car and put all that, and then you've got to fund the whole flipping thing. Rather learn to be rich first, and then fund the being rich out of the wealth you create than anything else. So, does that help, Mono?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Any other questions or comments? Shawnee says hard-hitting facts. Yeah, Shawnee, I think one of the things about becoming financially free, one of the things about getting on the journey to creating wealth, and I'm going to write up this word or these words. It's be real. So you got to be real with yourself. Just sometimes you got to stand in the mirror, look at yourself in the face, and say, "Where am I?" Okay, be real. Where am I? Okay, good. And in terms of some of these habits that I'm going to talk through tonight, yeah, some of them we've got to be pretty hard hitting. I know that I've got to be brutal with myself in order for me to move forward, in order for me to create change. The more brutal and honest I am with myself, now I do it in the right way with the right energy. But when I'm ill-disciplined, I've got to be brutal with myself. Dude, you're ill-disciplined at the moment. You gotta ramp up your level of discipline. It's not acceptable that you're doing that. And I confront myself, and I am hard hitting with myself. So you want to be able to confront yourself, but you also want to be able to surround yourself with people that'll also confront you and hold you to reach the dreams that you want. I think too many people these days are too good at the BS with themselves. Tell ourselves all these stories, but deep down, I ask this: 3 o'clock in the morning when you wake up, and it's just you. Everyone else is asleep, and you're lying there in your own thoughts in your own mind. That's when we really are honest with ourselves, and we ask. I don't know if you're like me. I ask myself the real hard questions. And then I've got to face up and say, what am I going to do about it? Do I really want to have what I want to have? And then change. So yeah. So great comment, hard hitting facts. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Number 5. Manage your debt and have the right type of debt. Okay, so in Awaken Your Financial Genius, Kenny McElroy teaches this. Debt is money. Okay, debt is money, but it's the right type of debt. Sadly, most people have the wrong type of debt. They have consumer debt. They have debt that's funding their nice toys, debt that's funding their lifestyle. Okay, so Kenny McElroy teaches debt is good. You've got to get into debt. Robert's book, Other People's Money, is about getting into debt in order to use debt to leverage and create money to build assets. So what type of debt are you in? Manage debt. One of the articles I read, it said, never have debt. So, well, if you can't manage debt, well, then don't have it. But, it says debt deprives you of a happy future. Yes, if you've got the wrong debt. So, some people teach debt is bad. Well, the wrong debt is bad. The right debt is good. Can you learn? Can you understand? Can you open your mindset to leveraging money, to using money in order to create debt to build wealth? Okay. So get out of the wrong debt, get into the right debt, and remember, debt is money. If you use debt, leverage debt, you can create and generate money out of somebody else's money. So that's number 5. Get into the right debt, use the right debt. Debt is money. Okay. Debt is money. Number 6, I believe this is probably one of the most important things, probably one of the most important habits, and it's this. Never, ever stop learning. Never stop learning. Get into the habit of learning. Become a learning machine. Now, I'm not talking about the learning of getting another degree, another diploma, a PhD, and all that sort of stuff. I'm talking about lifelong learning. I'm talking about getting in the habit of doing what you guys are doing tonight, getting on webinars, going to seminars, trying things out, experiencing things, learning from mistakes, becoming aware of how to manage your money, starting to take a few risks. It's all about learning. When you make mistakes, you're going to ask yourself, what am I learning? When you're getting wins and things are working, you're going, what have I learned? What can I do again? What can I duplicate? But if you get in this mindset that success and wealth creation is a journey of learning, and you are prepared to never ever stop learning. Okay, and I'll say it again. Not learning about getting a piece of paper and saying, hey, I've got a degree in financial literacy. The learning of becoming financially literate, the learning of applying what you learn, of putting it in, the learning of taking information and turning it into knowledge. Okay, so information is just stuff in our head. I work with too many people who know too much, and they waste it with how much they know because they're not using it. Yet I've worked with some highly successful people that have limited knowledge, limited information on stuff, but they've turned it into incredible knowledge by doing. So never ever stop learning. Okay, so Shani says functional learning. Yeah, we call it experiential learning. Experience, get in, do it again. So one of the powers of the Awaken Your Financial Genius program, and those of you that are joining us this Saturday for Play Your Money Game and the Awaken Your Financial Genius introductory program, those of you that are going to come along, what you'll learn is in that process, we set up the environment so that you can get as close as possible to the real thing, simulation. And through simulation, you learn. So you'll experience trading, you'll experience stocks and shares, you'll experience buying and selling properties, you'll experience managing your own financial statement, telling your own financial story. But I'm gonna encourage you, make this commitment to yourself. Never ever stop learning. In fact, in the Little Voice Mastery program that I do, it's a 7-week coaching program helping people dramatically shift and grow through their little voice. The one question I ask in that program is, how can you become a learning machine in the next 90 days? So I'm going to ask you to ask yourself this: how can I become a learning machine when it comes to finance, financial literacy, financial intelligence when it comes to creating wealth. How can I become a learning machine in the next 90 days? What am I prepared to do to become a learning machine? So never, ever stop learning. Okay. The next one. Begin with the end in mind. We've talked about that in previous webinars. Have clear, very clear, written down financial goals. We went through, Kim mentioned her financial goals. If you don't have any financial goals, what do you know? What are you working towards? People throw out numbers. I'm going to be a millionaire. I go, great, it's written down. Well, yeah, sort of. What does that mean? What does a millionaire mean? How are you going to become a millionaire? What assets are you going to well, I'm going to make $1 million. That's not a millionaire. Do you want to become a millionaire? And well, it is. As Robert teaches in Why the Rich Get Richer, there's many different types of millionaires. In fact, probably in the next webinar, I'll go through the different types of millionaires. You can be a millionaire with $1 million in the bank. That's great. Or you can be a millionaire with assets that feed you $1 million every month, every week, every year, whatever you want. But are you clear on your financial goals? Are you clear on your financial goals for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months, next 12 months, next 5 years, next 10 years? What are those financial goals? What are your monetary goals made up of? How much active income, how much passive income? Where are you going to generate that income from? What is the plan to generate that income? How are you going to put that in place? And when you have those financial goals down, then you can get on that path to really making it happen. So have clear and concise financial goals. Measure them, write them down, look at them every day, and be clear around them. The next one, I think we're on number 7. The 7th one, simplify your life. Okay, simplify your life. People tell me I'm too busy. Well, and then I see what they do. I'm too busy. I'm playing golf. I'm going to movies. I'm going away for the week. That's okay. I'm not saying stop those things, but if you're too busy to create wealth, to create financial freedom, then don't complain if you don't have it. But you got to simplify your life. For a period of time, you have to simplify your life and get focused on the thing that is going to create the result for you. Too many people have too many things on the go. They want something different, but they're not prepared to sacrifice some of the things in life that are holding them up. The more you're doing, the more cluttered your mind becomes. Simplify. How many of you are very busy in your mind because you're thinking about so many flipping things, but you're not achieving anything? Your mind's so busy that your being seems so busy, you're not creating it. So get simple. Get very simple for a period of time. It might be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it takes. Get very, very simple. So financial freedom is simple. It is, but it's not easy. So simplify your life. Keep it simple. Get rid of the things right now that are not serving you, that are not serving your goal, that are not serving your journey, that are detracting from you, not adding or multiplying to you, and stop doing them for a period of time. We went through a period of time where, in fact, I used to play golf every single Saturday, and I got on this journey of financial freedom, of creating wealth, of learning, teaching, training, and personal development. I gave up golf. It started off, I gave up golf one week a month. Then there was 2, and then 3. I hardly play golf anymore. I love the game. It didn't add the value that I needed to add. Going to a financial seminar, running my own seminars, looking at property on weekends and that sort of stuff was way more important than it was playing golf with my buddies over a period of time. So you decide what is it that you want to do? What is it that you really want to do? What is it that is adding value to your life or not? But how serious are you on achieving financial freedom and financial security? Because depending on how serious you are, will depend on what you're prepared to give up. So simplify your life and get rid of the things that are detracting you. Find the right people to hang around with. Find the people that are going to encourage you, not discourage you. Find the people that are going to get excited for you and your dreams, not be jealous for you and your dreams. Keep it simple. Don't underestimate the detraction of emotional clutter. So get rid of that emotional clutter. So Millionaire says people should always be wary of manipulative information. I'd say people should learn from people who've been successful in their areas of interest, not people who have not succeeded. Millionaire, we have a saying that says this: are you learning from real teachers? And one of the things in the Awaken Your Financial Genius program is, I don't teach tax because I'm not a specialist in tax. Tom Wheelwright teaches tax. I don't teach property. Kenny McElroy teaches property. What we do is we facilitate to help you create the learning. And, I teach sales and entrepreneurship because that's the area that I've had success in. So who are you learning? Who are you learning from? Who are you surrounding yourself with? And what are you doing to get those lessons? And what are you prepared to do to get those lessons? I'll give you an example. I'm flying to the States this weekend because I'm going for a meeting with Robert Kiyosaki and some of the Rich Dad advisors around a program, Awaken Your Financial Genius program, that I've been working on with Robert for the last 24 months. And literally, I'm going there for 4 hours. Now, it's an expensive trip, but I'm prepared to do what it takes to get in the environment to learn from people like Robert Kiyosaki. What are you prepared to do? What are you prepared to do? Who are you prepared to get around, hang around, serve in order to be able to learn from? I watch in this game, there's too many people that stand up on stages. I say that anyone can become a great speaker. Anyone can teach from a perspective of information. But can people teach from a perspective of doing? Now, I'll always say this: you don't have to have done it to teach it, but you have to be on the journey to doing it. And you got to be real. Got to be real. Be open. Be real for your mistakes. Be real for what you're not getting. Be real. Don't, if you're not financially free, don't say, hey, follow me, I'm financially free. And then you're not, because when people find out, just be honest. I'm not financially free. I'm not financially free right now. I'm on the journey to becoming financially free. I'm studying, learning, teaching, building assets, doing all that sort of stuff. I'm on the journey for becoming financially free. One of my problems is that I started learning how to become financially free too late in life. I already had 2 teenage daughters in private schools and all the other luck that goes with it. That my price to freedom is great. Those of you that might be on this call that are in your early 20s, start getting into financial freedom now before you get in all the muck that some of us have got into around the lifestyle that we've created. That now we have to try and create the asset base to cover that. I don't want to live a lower life, but I want to build an asset base that will allow me to live it. Does that make sense? So yeah, who do you hang around with? Who are you learning about money and wealth from? Very good, Millionaire. Thank you for that. Shani, stop feeling guilty to succeed. Well, Shani, it's just follow success. Never feel guilty about the dreams and aspirations that you want to achieve. And too many people stop because they're too worried about what other people think. Most people actually, sadly, don't think, but they definitely don't think about you. They're thinking about themselves. So great. Dirk, great question. So what is the definition of financially free? So Dirk, in our world, the definition of financially free is this, and I'll put it up. When you're... Oh. So Dirk, when your passive income is greater than your expenses. So most people survive and live and chase. active income, which means go to work, get a job, earn money. So go to work, get paid, go to work, get paid, go to work, get paid. And most people work harder and harder to get paid more and more and more. That's the goal for many, many people. But the pattern goes like this: go to work, get paid, go to work, get paid, go to work, get paid, stop work, no pay. So go to work, get paid covers the expenses. But the freedom is no freedom because you've got to keep working. The freedom comes, go to work, use your money to build an asset. Take your asset classes, build an asset. That asset generates passive income. That passive income covers expenses. When that passive income is greater than those expenses, you are financially free, which means you can stop this. You can stop this, and this will keep coming in. And that means you're free to do whatever you want if you want to do whatever you want. Or you can keep working and keep using that money if you love what you do or don't. You make that decision. But that is what financial freedom is. Well, does a business that is an asset which you have to work on constantly then realize as being financially free? Well, if you can build a team who works in that business and generates income and you can do whatever you want, then you're free. So if you have to rock up and open the doors every day, and if that business is not going to run without you, are you free? So being self-employed, we're not free. Being a specialist, often we're not free. Being the magician, we're not free. So often depends on the asset class that you build. But often when we build assets and we build businesses where we have teams that run it, you do some work on it. The question is, could you take a year off your business and when you come back, it's bigger and better than when you left it? If you can, then that's freedom. And you're building, then that business is a real asset. That business fits into this side of the quadrant, the B and the I side of the quadrant. Otherwise, we're stuck over here on the E and an S. Does that make sense? So part of the Awaken Your Financial Genius program is creating awareness around where each one of us sits in terms of that, where we sit in terms of passive income, where we sit in terms of our businesses, in terms of our active income, and what do we need to do, and what are the goals and the results we want to generate. So hopefully this is helping you and making you guys creating some form of awareness this evening. And so that the last point is this, that if you want to create assets, find a vehicle within which to be able to create it. And one of the quickest, easiest ways to start generating an asset is for example, to get involved in something like a network marketing business, because it's designed for you to be able to do it part-time and create passive-based income as you're building and working on your asset basis. And Robert Kiyosaki is a big proponent of network marketing businesses. In fact, he actually says, if you really understand it, if you build a network marketing business and you join a network marketing business, just stick with it for 5 years. Make sure you work it, follow the system, and the lessons and the growth you'll get out of there are phenomenal. My wife and I, for example, we've had a network marketing business for the last 6 years, and that business generates us, if I average it out over 6 years, has probably generated us comfortably on average 15,000 Rand every single month in passive type income. So that would be a property portfolio of probably 2 to 3 million Rand paid off in property. For me, for example, I look at all different options and go, what can I do in order to create different levels of different types of passive income? Property is the other side. Business is my real passion, building businesses. So building businesses that start generating passive income while people are working, and can I create dividends and that sort of stuff out of those businesses? So be open to options that exist to create the wealth that you need. So if you don't have any options open at the moment, I would encourage you, look at network marketing as a base to really get started and to understand the base for building an asset-based business. It's like any business. It takes work to get started. You're going to have to build it. You've got to learn it. You've got to understand it. It's not a magic wand where you I don't know, join the business and then suddenly you make money. That's the lotto. If you want to do that, that's called gambling and luck. But build it, and over a period of time, you'll create a steady stream of income, and then you start using that and other streams. So, Dirk, how many streams of income would you suggest to have without losing focus? Dirk, I think, Robert has a saying, it's called focus, follow one course until successful. And, so become a student of what you're doing. That's one of the reasons, why I say to people, look, if you focused on property, get focused on property. At the same time, you could probably build a network marketing business, because the tools and the techniques that you're going to learn out of that and the passive income that you're going to learn out of that are designed to run part-time. You've got to look at where you're at. You've got to look at your goals and your dreams and what you want to achieve. And then you've got to make the decision on how much focus can you have and how much focus can't you have. I find that I can generate enough focus to focus on 3 and sometimes 4 different avenues to generate income. But I've been in this game for over a decade. So, it's up to you. But study and learn and commit to what you're doing in order to give it everything that you have. So, folks, any other questions or comments? Any questions or comments on the pointers that we've talked through tonight? The key habits or the key mindsets that you can focus on and build in order to create that mindset, create the behavioral pattern of becoming wealthy. Any comments around those before we wrap it up and finish off? Okay, so Triska says, what is good debt and what is bad debt? Great question, Triska. So briefly, good debt is debt that you use to buy and build assets that create positive, passive, or cash flow for you. Bad debt is any debt that puts you in a hole and costs you money and creates a liability. So good debt is something that will build an asset and a positive cash flow. Bad debt is something that will create and build a liability. In its very simple terms. So getting in a hole for R1 million to buy a new Mercedes, you make the decision. I would call that bad debt if it's going to cost me 25,000 Rand a month. Good debt would be, borrowing R1 million to buy a R1 million property that I could generate 10,000 Rand net cash flow every single month. And if my repayment on the R1 million is 8,000 Rand a month, I'm making a positive cash flow of 2,000 Rand a month. I have a positive cash flow. Then I would say that getting debt for that R1 million was a good thing, because it's allowing me to create cash flow, build an asset that is going to cash flow for a long period of time. Great question. Thank you. Dirk, a great question. Lean Startup by Eric Ries. I've done quite a bit of learning around Lean Startup. I suppose the only way that, I suppose that would be a whole different webinar, I'd say, Dirk, around Lean Startup. For me, in today's session is keep it simple. Just keep it simple and And in anything, I think in building businesses and creating wealth, too many people just get too complicated. In the sales explosion and in my sales strategy seminar, I teach people how to create a one-page business plan. That's a funnel with the right metrics of numbers, with the right activities, one-pager. You go to the bank, they want a 20-page business plan. It's just way too friggin' complicated. And most people never even read it. So you just keep that goal really simple. Where do I like that simple plan that I drew out for Kim right at the beginning? What do I want to have? Where am I right now? What are the steps that I need? You just follow that. So just keep it simple. Really, really, really simple. Great. Thank you, Dirk. Cool. Any other questions, comments, anything else we could touch on in the last couple of minutes before we finish off? Well, I'm waiting for you to type. Don't forget, on Saturday from 9 until just after 1, we have a Play the Money game event at the Nickel Hotel in Bedford View. It's 150 Rand per person. It is the introduction to Awaken Your Financial Genius, which is the program that I run with Robert Kiyosaki. And don't forget that at the 7th of July program, I will also be sharing with you how you can get in the room in an exclusive event that I am hosting, where I'm hosting Robert Kiyosaki and his Rich Dad tax advisor, Tom Wheelwright, for a full afternoon from 2 in the afternoon until 8 o'clock in the evening on the 31st of August. So if you want to know how you can get in that room, what you need to do to be part of that room, I don't know about you, but spending anytime I can get in a small room with Robert and Tom and the other, man, it's worthwhile. So there will probably be less than 60, maybe 70 people in that room on the 31st. So come and join us on the 7th of July, and join us on the 7th of July from 9 until 1:30 at the Nickel Hotel in Bedford View. Come play the money game, 150 Rand per person. Bring some friends, bring some business partners, bring your kids. But, just invest in you. What are you doing to invest in you? What are you doing to make sure that what you're doing is getting you on the path that you want to get onto and create the results? Would 150 Rand and 4.5 hours investment be more important than going shopping, going to maybe Mug and Bean for breakfast, or playing golf, whatever you do on a Saturday morning? Just go to the link, come and join us, and come and get a feel of what we do when it comes to helping the rich become richer and helping the middle class move to the rich, middle, and poor class, rather than staying poor and middle class. What is it that the rich do to become richer? So Millionaire says, what's the difference between being rich and being wealthy? Wealth is a time game, Millionaire. Wealth is based on time. Wealth is how many months, years, how many weeks, months, or years could you live if you didn't go out and generate income tomorrow? Rich is not necessarily wealth. Rich is a lot of money, often a lot of material things, and I can become very rich. I've been very rich a number of times in my life. I've sold a lot of stuff, had lots of income come in, gone out pretty quickly to cover all the expenses. So you can go and do a property deal tomorrow morning and make $1 million Rand commission. You'll be rich for a period of time, but you won't be wealthy. Wealth is time based, and wealth is created. So a lot of people are chasing rich. So hopefully that clears that up. So guys, I just want to thank you for being on the call tonight. Hopefully it added value. If it did, just give us a thumbs up or a yes. If it did add value tonight, if you did learn, looking forward to next week. I am hoping to do a webinar next week. It may not be on because I will be in the States. This time next week, I'll be at the Rich Dad offices in Phoenix, Arizona. There may be, I might, if I can tie it in, do a webinar for you guys live out of the Rich Dad offices to give you a little look around and see what that office looks like. How many of you would be keen to do that if I did a little webinar out of the Rich Dad offices and showed you a little bit of what it looks like? So no promises. Might be able to do that. I will see what I can arrange when I arrive there. So thank you very much for being with me tonight. Thank you for being with the Uncovering Greatness team. Looking forward to see you on Saturday. Come and join us at the Nickel Hotel. Bring some people with you. Bring your spouse. Bring the significant people in your life. And who knows, maybe just those 4.5 hours will dramatically change the way you think about creating wealth and making money. Marlon, back to you. Thanks very much, buddy.
Thank you very much, Barry. So yes, thank you very much. I think lots of learning, great questions, so much that I actually got out of this room today. I hope you got a lot of value. We hopefully just keep a lookout on the emails, especially for the recording, as well as I will check with Barry and get you guys on email with regards to next week and what will be happening. So have a good evening and see you guys next week, perhaps.